I'm going to talk to you about March. March is a very important month in the beekeeper's calendar. There's all sorts of things you've got to be thinking about. Preparing for the season, you've got to be making sure that your bees don't die of starvation. This is the most vulnerable time for them. You'll probably think about hive splitting in the future and feeding and all that sort of thing. So I'm going to take you through the things that I'll be doing this March. You have to remember that many of the bees in here are quite old. They provide the link to the colony from the old season to the new season. So there's an awful lot to do. So you've got to really look after them. It's got to be all about food and just helping them wherever you can. So I'm going to have a little look at this one here. At this time of the year, the bees will be having a good spring clean. They're quite meticulous creatures, so you have to bear that in mind. If you can help, then do so. This is what I do. Always the first job with any hive is to check the floor. Sounds a bit daft. As you can see, I've got some fondant feed in. This is Appy Candy Pratico. That's been on there since December, so I'm actually going to change that pouch in a minute. You can see they've just about finished. I don't know if you can see those bees there, but they've nearly finished it. So it's a good healthy sign. And what I'm going to do is just lift the brood box carefully off the floor. Now, don't be alarmed. If you see this sort of thing, it's purely natural. So I've got lots, well, a few, I don't know, a couple of hundred of dead bees. Now, the bees are going to be, this is natural wastage from all through the winter. Notice I've removed my mouse guard. I think March is long enough to leave those on. There's no danger anymore. I've already checked the floor and cleaned it. The next thing I'm going to do is have a little peep at the bees, because I want to know, I'm thinking about splitting these and I want to know what the situation is. So there we are. We have, in my estimation, this hive, I've got about 6 frames, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about hive splitting maybe at the end of March, but I think it's too early. You need, in my view, you need at least 7 good frames of bees and brood to split, because 3 frames will be starting a new colony and the 4 frames will be staying at home. So I'm not going in there because I'm a firm believer in less is more. They're looking perfectly all right. They're bringing pollen in, so everything must be pretty all right with the queen, I'm guessing. I'm going to change this food over. There's an old saying, don't keep digging the flowers up to see how the roots are getting on. And it's the same with bees. Don't interfere if there's nothing you can possibly do to help. Just to say, oh, I've seen the queen. She's obviously there. So I'm going to just slide it over like this so I'm not disturbing my bees. I put one of my fondant feed blocks on there. And then this, I'm just going to leave on the side there and let the bees vacate. So that's the mouse guard. That's cleaning, that's feeding. I'm happy that they've got enough food in there. The last thing is treatment. I know it seems a bit early, but basically you've got to get your treatment done before the honey flow goes, before you start putting your supers on. So if you work backwards, this stuff you can start now, Apivar, because it's not weather reliant. It's not doesn't rely on temperatures being above 12 degrees centigrade. Right, so you can just put those in once, 6 to 10 weeks, take them off, and that's around about the right time when your supers are going back on. This one, Apivar, is those little biscuity, greasy things. What you do is you give them 3 treatments 1 week apart. Very important to treat, in my opinion, at this time of the year, because the varroa are going to keep multiplying and multiplying in the good weather, just like the bees. So for every extra varroa mite you kill now, you're probably saving hundreds and hundreds at peak season. So really be harsh with them and get them really knocked back. That will make sure your colony's looking really good for the remainder of the summer.